So we've talked about teleworking. Now we need to talk about the softwares that the company will use to both support teleworking and just in their general day-to-day business. We're going to be talking about 3 different types of software. These are open source software, proprietary software, and bespoke software. We're going to be looking at all 3 of these and looking at how they link together in order to provide a solution for Aqualung. Open source software is a free to download software. Now, if you want to know if a software is an open source software, this logo is often associated with it. Examples include Linux, which is an operating system, Paint.net, which is a sort of image manipulation software, and OpenOffice, which is a combined sort of office software suite. With open source software, users can edit the software, modify it, and even in some cases they can distribute the software too. We're now going to look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of this type of software. Okay, we'll start off with the fact that it is a free software, so obviously there's less cost for an organisation. And the code is continually being developed by users, so obviously it's improving. If people have got the permission to change things, they can make improvements and add new features. As you can change the code, you can also apply the software to your own specific problems by rewriting sections of it. In terms of disadvantages, updates are unscheduled and sporadic, so you never know when the software is going to be updated, or even if it's going to be updated. It may also lack some of the features of its paid-for version. There's also less support and it's less well packaged than paid-for versions. Most popular versions of this type of software is Mozilla Firefox, Linux, Paint.net, and OpenOffice. They can be downloaded from the internet for free and have similar features to their paid-for proprietary software rivals. Okay, now we're going to talk about proprietary software. This is a paid-for software that gives one or more users the right to use the software, but not edit or redistribute it. One example of a provider of proprietary software is Microsoft, who have a range of softwares such as PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Access, and provide home versions and business versions of these softwares in packages. Often these softwares provided by Microsoft are already loaded in a computer, into a Windows computer, and are the price of which is included in the price of the computer. Sometimes you may have to purchase them separately. Now, people that pay for this software are not allowed to change this software, which has sparked debate in recent years with games consoles that have been purchased by users, and then they have modified them to allow them to have enhanced gaming experiences, which has obviously led to the detriment of other users. Now, some people might argue that it's your console, you've paid for it, you've paid for the software, it's up to you what you do with it. Some people claim that, well, the providers of these consoles claim that you're licensing effectively the software and you should be prevented from doing so. But that is something that is governed by the Copyright Design and Patents Act. Okay, advantages and disadvantages of proprietary software. Firstly, it's coded and updated by the manufacturer instead of a range of users, so it's obviously professionally produced. There's more support for the software from the manufacturer, such as help pages, wizards, and online videos. And it's tested extensively. Well, you may pay for features that you never use. That's one disadvantage of proprietary software. You may also take a long time to learn the software because it's large and complicated. And if you work in a competitive industry where the software would give you a competitive advantage, well, you're not going to have an advantage because the competitor can simply also buy that software. There's no protection there. The software would be widely available. It's not built specifically for you. It's just a software that provides a solution to a common problem, whether that be an industry problem or a home PC use problem. So let's talk about an example where proprietary software might be useful. If you're a web developer, you may buy a web development software such as Dreamweaver to help you build websites. Obviously this has not been built specifically for you, but you have purchased this software to enable you to produce websites for your line of business. Proprietary softwares and open source softwares are built to be compatible with other software packages. Obviously this is a save as screen. You can save in a range of different formats to be able to be used with other similar softwares. Okay, bespoke software is a software that is created for a particular organisation, and it will have tight specific requirements that software needs to perform. Similar to user requirements and success criteria, the organisation will state to a internal developer or to an external software production company, so a company that actually makes software. It will state to them the exact success criteria and things that they want this software to actually do, and then this company will produce this software to the exact requirements. In terms of made in-house, that means that they will employ people in their company to build the software, so they will employ the people directly to build it. Let me give you an example. So, in-house. Imagine that this company, we're going to call it Webco, okay? Brilliant and original. They want a new software. If they were to develop it in-house, they would speak to the software designers who work within their company, if they had some, and that those people would be set at the task of building this software in-house. If they didn't want to do it in-house, they would go to a company such as Software Creation Co. and they would get them to build it for them in their company offices, and then obviously they would purchase this software. So, the advantages and disadvantages of bespoke software. First of all, it's tailor-made to their exact requirements, so it meets everything that they want to do. Having a software that your rival may not have gives you a massive competitive advantage over them also. It also meets the needs of the company where paid-for existing solutions wouldn't quite do this. So if there's a software that already exists that does 90% of the job but unfortunately doesn't do the whole job, then sometimes the bespoke solution is the only thing to go for, because it completes all the tasks that the business needs to do. It can also be designed to make it easy to learn so that it is intuitive. In terms of the disadvantages, there's a higher cost than proprietary software because you're having to pay a whole team to actually build the software specifically for you, instead of just buying a software that has been made for many people where this cost is spread. There's also less chance of finding any bugs that you may come across in the software due to the fact that they won't have had as much testing as a proprietary software, because only yourself and people within your organisation will be able to test it, whereas proprietary software that's obviously sold to a lot of people gets a lot of testing naturally just through releasing early to people who want to test it, which is probably normally a large community of people who are waiting for that software eagerly, who want to get early access to it. And these people test this software and report back problems. And obviously with this bespoke software, if there's only 10 people in your organisation, then only 10 people are going to test it, so there may be a lot of bugs down the line. It's also difficult to recruit experts to help develop the software because the competitiveness of the employment market for this particular role. A lot of time and money is invested in creating softwares, both by commercial organisations that their actual role is to create these softwares, and organisations that create it for themselves, i.e. bespoke software solutions. Because of all this time and money spent in creating these softwares, these softwares need to be protected, and the software is actually called intellectual property. A software license is a set of rules on how the software can be used. The licensing agreement will normally indicate that it is illegal to make and sell or distribute multiple copies of the same software. The exact rule depends on the particular software that's been considered. Open source licenses allow you to use and edit the software for free. Proprietary software is limited to the amount of users that can use it. If you get a 50 site license, then obviously 50 people or 50 computers can use it at the same time. You're not allowed to edit or share it, and you have to agree to the terms before you actually use it. Now, bespoke software that's been built specifically for a company, only the organisation who have paid for the creation of this software are allowed to use it. Their rivals are not allowed to use it unless they license it out to them. Now, this creates an interesting legal situation in terms of bespoke software, because if it's done externally by an external software creation company who then think, oh, this is a great software, I'd like to sell this to other companies, what rights do they have? Now, under the copyright, design and patents, if you're paid to work and create something for somebody, and you're everything you create under that employment or that paid contract belongs to the person that is paying you. Okay, so if you were working and creating something for somebody else, even if you made it, they own it because they are paying you to create it. This has had massive implications in terms of the Facebook movie. Obviously, this was a central theme in which Mark Zuckerberg was paid to create a website that he went on to create for himself instead, leading to large compensation payouts. Now, the key piece of for this particular act is, for this particular piece of theory, is the Copyright, Design and Patents Act. Not parents, patents. Here is a list of further research that you can do into this. There you go. There's some videos and some other further reading that you can do in your own time. Now, thinking about the case study, in what situation would Aqua Inflatables use open source, proprietary and bespoke software, and why? Now, I'm going to break this question down for you into individual marks. So for each point, it will be 2, 2 and 2, okay, leading to a total of 6. There will be 1 mark for stating a situation where they would use that software or a task that they want to complete, and also another mark for each one for the explanation. So to start you off, the open source software, I would probably give a situation such as a simple software that you want to be able to use for minor tasks, okay, not tasks that provide you with a competitive advantage. And as it's free, you could provide it to your home working staff. They will be able to download it for free. You wouldn't have to pay for individual licenses. And obviously minor tasks aren't particularly important to your business. For example, writing letters or performing small tasks such as that. Give it a go.